Hello, and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Young Justice, which we'll be getting into today. I'm Justin Cummings, and today I'm joined by Beatriz Mourad.
Hello.
And Haruun Muse.
What up?
So today, yes, we are talking about Young Justice Outsiders, episodes 4 through 6, which came out Friday, January 10th, 11th, whichever day that was, 2019. So spoilers for everything up through episode 6. If you want to hear our podcast we did on episodes 1 through 3, you can go back and find that on overlyanimated.com. Search Overly Animated on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher, or Overly Animated on YouTube. So, I still cannot believe that Young Justice is even back. Like, I wasn't on the last podcast to talk about this, but we just watched new episodes of Young Justice in 2019. That still was my mind. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, it's just crazy. I mean, when I first started coming, I was like 12 years old, and at the time it would all come out like on Friday nights, and I would just watch that. First, I'll watch Legend of Korra because it came out at that same time too, that same time year, Legend of Korra. Then I'll just go straight to Young Justice. And it's just crazy. Like it finished in 2013. It just came back out of nowhere, and I just heard about it last year. I'm like, wow, these fans are so devoted, and like just to watch the first 3 episodes last week, it's just so amazing that they just brought it back. There's just so many words to describe how crazy it is.
Beatrice, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I mentioned I was on the podcast last time, so I kind of mentioned it. So I'll just keep it short. I missed Young Justice so much.
It's so weird to me because Young Justice is a holdover of this certain time period in especially Cartoon Network, where you look at what shows were airing. This was when Ben 10 got a little darker, with like the Alien Force era, Alien Force Ultimate Alien. You had Generator Rex, you had Secret Saturdays, you had Star Wars The Clone Wars. Adventure Time was just really getting going. Regular show was getting going. And then you had Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, and you had Young Justice. It's such a different era that is just complete. It was truly like a prime time era that's just completely gone. And to see Young Justice kind of come back in a completely different animation landscape and still holding its own is just, to me, mind-blowing. Like, I didn't see the show when it first aired because I was still mad that it wasn't Teen Titans. And now I'm just happy to get anything, and it's really good, and I'm just so very happy.
But I mean, we don't have numbers to say like, oh, it's holding its own in comparison to other shows. Like, we don't know that yet.
But it's holding its own in that we don't necessarily need this doesn't need numbers. This is not Cartoon Network anymore. It's ad space is no longer the concern. The concern at this point, especially with this and Titans, is getting eyes on DC Universe.
Exactly. It's number 1 in viewing at the moment, next to the Batman animated series.
Right, exactly. On the app. But the thing is, I mean even numbers within the app. It's like how many people are watching the app, how many people are watching Batman the animated series in comparison to Young Justice. Like, I'm not expecting the numbers because no streaming service gives numbers.
No,
but I'm just saying, if we're going to say, I wouldn't make the claim it's holding its own against every other animated show until we get those numbers and until I start sensing more of a discussion about it. I mean, sensing more of a presence about it. Because online, I haven't felt as much of a presence as, say, something like She-Ra, something like Steven Universe. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, careful with, like, the big claims.
Are you willing to say it's holding its own content-wise?
Content-wise, in terms of quality, yes. In terms of quality, yes. But in terms of just, other stuff, maybe not so much.
It just started. Like, yes, we're 6 episodes in, but it's also been literally like 10 days. I think after the mid-season finale drops and we have a couple months to stew, then we'll really see how it caught on. But I was very worried that the show would feel dated, and I don't think it does. And so that, to me, is a good sign going forward.
Yeah, they captured the right target audience. And to, like, also add on, I think the other issue is that it's just been limited to the U.S. Like, they just released this in Canada. like yesterday on Sunday.
And as we know, when a show only airs in one market, it's gonna get seen in the other markets one way or another. I was watching Total Drama illegally when it only aired in Australia when I was 14. And so I think not releasing it in other markets is gonna hurt their numbers a lot, because a lot of people are gonna watch it, but they can't watch it through the app. And I think that's gonna hurt. Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, nowadays people are just streaming. Nobody has the time to just watch television in a way. So,
I mean, I don't think the problem is like watching it on television or like where you watch it. I think the problem is, one, it's a new app, so it's not like it's Netflix where everybody's already like has like an account, or it's not like it's like would someone be willing to pay $8 a month to watch one show if they're only interested in Young Justice? That's the question. And it's more also like, again, the problem is worldwide, because it's only airing in the US. Like you mentioned Canada, but I don't know if like anywhere in Latin America, in Asia, like I don't know where they're going to be streaming that there. So that's also another question. That's the problem. So it's
I think what they're going to do going forward is that first they just what DC did was they first had the first season of Titans, and they just put it on Netflix the other week, I think. So I think that's what
in other countries or here.
In other countries, and I think they're going to do it here soon too.
I doubt it, because right now Titans is pretty much the only reason besides Young Justice to have the app. Like, unless you're just a diehard for old DC, Titans and Young Justice are the only originals so far.
Oh.
Yeah.
They need to hold on to that.
Yeah.
So let's get into these episodes, because as hard as it is to access them, they are here and they are really, really good. So let's start with episode 4 and kind of getting into this, not filler arc, but the wonderful side plot of Dick Grayson and the 3 Harpers.
Oh my goodness.
Beatrice, did you know there were 3 Harpers? I only remembered there being 2.
Okay, so it took me, I honestly only remembered there being, yes, only 2. Yes, you're right. And I still kind of forgot, and I kind of forgot about Speedy, and I only remembered Roy. Well, the clone Roy I only remembered, so I was like, wait, what's going on? And then I had to like refresh, and I was like, yes, that's what happened. And so I did have to like do a quick kind of like Wikipedia of like, wait, what happened with the Harpers and Young Justice? What's going on? But I enjoyed this side. Like plot. I mean, it feels
so good.
It's not just that it was good, but in the previous pod, everyone talked about how I know that Andy mentioned how he was worried about it being too dark, and like there was this kind of worry about the darkness of this show, and I wasn't that worried because I knew that they were going to start bringing in the more humoristic elements of the previous seasons back, just slowly. Like they were going to bring them back and this was the episode that showed it. Which is, it still has they're older, all the characters are older now, so they're talking about, they make jabs about them having a business and all this stuff, and sure, it's
insurance
funny.
Premiums, yeah.
Exactly. So
Hunter.
But it still has that kind of lightness to it that I personally wasn't scared that was going to disappear. And not only that, what I really liked is that despite it being seemingly something that has nothing to do with the grand scheme of the plot, it seems like a side plot. Even then, there was a lot of character work that they were able to do with Dick. They were able to show like, hey, he's just not. It's not cool what he's doing, and they were able to show him kind of grappling with that and forcing him to deal with it, which is what's great about side plot. Like that's what separates good side plots from bad ones. The good ones are the ones that do still make you feel like there is progress to the plot, even though it's really just character development.
Exactly. I love this plot. I love this episode. And this was when I think this batch of episodes it both made me more and less worried. I'm so scared this is going to turn into a Bat Family show.
Yeah.
It starts to lean that way, and then it leans back back the other way. But the thing is, they still have not mentioned Tracy 13 by name. One of our current, actual members of Young Justice has still not been named 6 episodes later. We only know her name because of cheats.
Yeah, that's like
and what?
That's just like another complaint. They devoted this entire 6 episodes to the Outsiders. We only had maybe 10 minutes devoted to the team, the actual team, the Young Justice.
Well,
team.
I mean, to be fair, it is at least called Young Justice Outsiders.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, I'm okay with that. But that being said, in the intro, they spent the whole opening scene is about Earth versus Apocalypse. So is this season about the Outsiders? Is it about Apocalypse and the New Gods and all that stuff? Or is it about the Bat Family? Or is it about our actual team? There's so much going on that I know this show will work it out. It always does. But this show kind of angers me when it introduces so many characters. Episode 1 will always have 5 people you've never seen and then never name them for half a season.
Exactly. Did you guys still notice episode 6 one? Can we talk about episode 6, or do you want to talk about that later?
We're gonna end with 6 just because there's so much there, and there is a little bit more info I want to talk about. But do you know all the names of the characters? Is everyone caught up on the names?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do. It's just that the one of the complaints I had is that they introduce so many characters that they don't actually spend time. We don't actually get time to get to know them. We got characters. Yeah.
I mean, you're right. Because, for instance, Tracy 13, I specifically should care a lot about this character because apparently she is I thought she was bi, but apparently some people think she's gay. I don't know, but apparently that's a thing, and I didn't know. And that's a problem because I should know this. This is if anyone looks at the Discord for the Young Justice channel on our Discord, that's my biggest complaint is that the show is very straight and it's also kind of using metahumans to use this kind of queer themed storyline of mistreatment of people based on how they were born. So it's kind of you're gonna do that, but you're not gonna include LGBT characters. And here's a character that has the potential of being LGBT, and I have no idea who she is. And not only that, but the fact that we haven't heard her name on the show, and I had to heard it from the grapevine outside it. It's not great. And I don't know, I think my biggest thing about Young Justice is that because it's an ensemble show, but the thing is I'm fine with that if the team remains the same. And it's fine if you want to show growth and you bring in people, but the first season they had one group. Second season they brought more people in. And it's okay, that's fine. Third season they're bringing in even more people instead of developing the ones they introduced the second season, which barely got anything too. So it's kind of why are you bringing even more characters in, and why aren't you just focusing on the growth of the ones that you already have?
And not only are they bringing in more characters, they're bringing in more characters in 2 separate groups.
Yeah.
So it's not even we can focus on those characters as they relate to the season 2 characters.
And not just that, but some of the characters that they're bringing in are basically the same characters as they're different versions of the same character. So for instance, Prince Brion, they've mentioned it already that he's basically Superboy, but first season Superboy. So it's kind of and he's voiced by the same guy. So it's kind of why
Troy
are
Baker,
you?
yeah.
So why are you? Oh, is it Troy Baker? I thought it was Nolan North, I think.
No, Nolan North is Dick Grayson.
Oh, what?
No, I thought Justin
voice
McCartney.
Justin McCarthy is Dick Grayson. Nolan North is Superboy.
Who's Nolan North?
So who's Prince
Superboy
Brion?
and Superman. He's voiced by Troy Baker.
Oh, okay. So but they sound similar, so it's fine. Point is, they sound a lot alike, and they're basically the same character, only slightly different. So I'm just at least in terms of personality.
Brion is only here for 2 reasons. One, he's one of the original Outsiders. So if they're going to call it the Outsiders, they kind of need him. Second, he's here to give us the MacGuffin of his sister.
Which is fine, but I'm just saying they couldn't have given him like a little bit of a different personality than Superboy season 1. Like seriously, like it's just so similar. Like they both grunted, they're like breaking things and anger issues, and I'm just like, we've been through it. Why don't we, do something mix it up a little bit, just a little bit.
But do you think it's helping Superboy grow through that, through seeing what he used to be?
Not really, because like he became, not necessarily, because he needed to recognize himself to be able to grow from that. So it's kind of like, why, and also why have him be a mentor when it would be much more fascinating if we continued that, tension between him and Superman. But that's like the whole thing. It's like, well, where's Superman now? Who knows? There's too many characters, and some of them I really don't care about. And one of them being Prince
Lagoon Boy.
Which one?
Does it really matter, man? I mean, I'm pretty sure he was
No, it
not
does
like
matter because the Superboy, Lagoon Boy, Megan love triangle. No, I don't care about Lagoon Boy. I really don't.
We really don't need that anymore.
But to me, like, if the Outsiders by episode 4 were with the Young Justice team, I wouldn't care. Because then Prince Brion can be interacting with, like, I don't know, Bart or one of the other characters, and we can get development in the team. Instead, we have seen the team for maybe 10 minutes as ways to find more Outsiders. Like, we have 3 different teams. We have 4 if you count the Justice League. We have Dick Grayson's group, we have the Outsiders, and then we have Young Justice.
Yeah.
And it's just...
It's hot.
I know this show. I know what this show is doing. I get it. By episode 10, characters who we thought were completely insignificant will come out of the woodwork like Blue Beetle did last season. We're all like, oh, Blue Beetle's in the background. Then he's a main character. I expect the same to happen with Tracy. I expect Donna Troy to get more than 5 words this season because I still know nothing about her.
Exactly.
But that's what I mean.
All I know is she started dating Tim Drake, and there might be trouble in paradise, and that's it. Like, at least Black Lightning is getting some love. Like,
but why Black Lightning and not Static Shock, who's more their age group?
That dude only had 2 lines in season 2, and then out of nowhere we're expected to care about him this season.
What I think would have been more interesting is what they hinted at the end of season 2 was Static being mentored by Black Lightning. That was, to me, if we saw Black Lightning as Static's mentor, then yes. But now Black Lightning's like a main character on his own, despite not being part of the team. I mean, I think he technically was an outsider at one point, but so is Katana, who she's probably going to show up soon because we saw her in the holograms. Like, it frustrates me how long they sit on characters that they have.
Also, can I just say, we need to add another team to the many teams we have. Because then the Bat family has its own thing, because Dick is doing his one thing, but then the Bat family has its own thing going, where they split up with everyone. So we have, various, multiple groups going on.
We need Wonder Woman with her own team.
Oh, but she has the actual Justice League is, in space with Wonder Woman. So now we have, another team we have to worry about.
Yeah.
Honestly, had they just done season 3 of Young Justice focusing on Apocalypse and then spun an outsider show out of it, I think that would have worked so much better.
I think what I read on an online review is that the first 13 episodes, what we're getting right now this month, they're gonna focus on the meta human trafficking, and then the rest of the 13 episodes coming in June is gonna focus more on the Apocalypse and the team and how they deal with it.
That's kind of what I figured, was they were going to split it like that, which I get. Every season of Young Justice does this, where it just throws a lot at you very quickly, and by the back half, you kind of settle down. It's just the first half is so... they're good episodes, but it's just kind of a slog of 10 different plots. Because on top of all of this, then we had Zatanna come back. Was that episode 4 as well?
Yeah, that was episode 4.
But see, I'm fine with Zatanna because we actually care about her from the previous seasons where she was developed.
They spent time with her, exactly.
And here's my thing. We have Zatanna, a character who has in the past, not necessarily in Young Justice, but in the past been a villain. A character who has a kind of troubled history with her magical abilities. Why is she not talking to Tracy 13?
I think she's her mentor. I think they even mentioned
Is
that
she?
on the. Yeah, they mentioned it in.
I had no idea.
For real, like in the 5th episode when they walked out of the portal to New Genesis. I think that's the planet they landed on, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Tracy 13 was mentioning that she was being mentored by Zatanna.
Awesome.
Like, why did Zatanna go with them? Like, what is?
Beatrice, I know you mentioned it. Or do both of you just sit there with the DC wiki pulled up? Because that's what I do. I have to watch the episodes with the wiki open.
I mean, if you're doing some research, yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it's not even research at this point. It's just a reminder, a refresher. I'm like, wait, who are you?
Oh, yeah.
But Dr. Fate is one of my favorite DC characters ever. And he's my main character in Injustice 2. Fight me. Literally fight me on the servers. I will kick your butt. He's amazing. But I love Dr. Fate so much. And we finally get Dr. Fate back. And it's like 10 seconds. And I'm like, okay. But just this show has so many... This show is weird in that while Teen Titans was purely focused on teenage characters, this show is more about how the teenage characters relate to the rest of the DC universe, which means showing us the rest of the DC universe, which gets very, very big, very, very fast.
See, but that's not necessarily true. Okay, look, that is why I like it, because unlike Teen Titans that lived in this bubble, Young Justice actually is incorporating the rest of the DC world. But
yes,
the problem isn't that, it's getting too much too fast. It's that instead of sticking with those main 5 from the original season 1, they had them grow up, and now they can't be called Young Justice anymore, so they have to grab other kids, and then they grow up because they did a time skip, and now we have other kids. It's just they're not staying with the main core group. There is no main core group anymore, and that's the problem. Just because you live in a bigger world and you're interacting with bigger people doesn't necessarily mean that you can that you have to stop having a main core group. And I think that's the problem with Young Justice. It's that since season 2, they've kind of lost sight of the magic that was the first season. And it's like, I get it, you want to show them grow, but you can still have them be a team. You don't have to be so tied into like, they have to be like these young kids. Like, they didn't grow up that much. It's fine.
It's only been 8 years.
So.
Look. I think I get.
No, sorry. Go for it.
I think I get, because the creators, they have talked about how this show is supposed to show the DC universe evolving and changing around these people, and I get it. I get what they're doing. I get what they're trying to do, that not all teenage superheroes that we know are teenagers at the same time. I think that's a sense of time progress that's missing from, say, Marvel, where Spider-Man's still a teenager, and Nico, Minoru, and the Runaways that were made 40 years later are also teenagers. And it's
the MCU is a little different, because Spider-Man was introduced in a different time.
More the comic book universe.
Really? Like, Peter Parker, I've seen the comic books being, like, an adult, though.
That's comic logic is weird. Sometimes he's old, sometimes comics are weird. But I think it's a pushback against that kind of notion of a character from 20 years ago is still a teenager, like that Simpsons effect of real time and comic time not being the same, real time and showtime not being the same. And I think this is a pushback against that, and I get it. I just don't think it's working as well as they hoped it would work. Yeah. And I think it's both the main problem with the show, but also a main goal of the creators from what I've heard them talking about. And so I think it creates a weird dynamic where they really believe in this. I'm just not sure they're hitting the mark.
I mean, you're right. They're not. They're not hitting the mark, because it's like, say for instance, they had introduced us to new characters that were younger, and we still cared about them just as much as we did the original crew. Then yeah, sure, it's working. But the problem is we haven't, and we still don't. And
I want to care about Donna Troy. I really, really do, because I love her from the comics. They've given me no reason to care. It took 10 to 12 episodes for them to reiterate that Beast Boy was the kid from season 1 that Megan gave the blood transfusion to. Like, all the pieces are there in the background. They're like half a season later, they're like, oh yeah, we forgot to tell you this.
Also, like, question, like, he's treating him, because this is something that just hit me. Like,
Yeah.
he's, like, comes out as being, like, a metahuman, but doesn't that, like, didn't he get his powers just from Megan? So
Isn't he technically part Martian?
no, yeah. So isn't the thing that he's not really a metahuman? If he's metahuman, means that you have the metahuman gene, and then something goes
Right.
off, and then you like basically the X-Men. You have the mutant gene, and then you hit puberty, and then you get your powers. But with him, it was a blood transfusion that gave him his powers. So why is he a metahuman when that's not how he became with his powers?
Probably
At least in this world.
Because he's a human with meta powers in a way, so.
But I'm just saying the definition in the show is that they have a gene. So why
Is that going to be a plot point?
I'm just saying, I think that's a plot hole, I think.
I'm wondering, though, if it will, like, come out to people that he's not truly a metahuman. Will he be basically exposed as, like, a fake icon? And does it ultimately matter if he's truly a metahuman or not by, like, the biological standard? And I think if this show had a smaller cast, we would get a focus on that. And I think it would be really, really interesting about celebrity culture and media and positive messages from fake sources.
That's not yours. Like, that's a really great storyline.
Well, first,
is he also treated as an outside? Like, is it the best identity he could use? There's a lot there that we don't have time to discuss. And if the show had a smaller cast, they would discuss it. But I don't think we're going to have time. What do you want to say?
Haruun, what do you want to say?
It's just that, I think going forward for Beast Boy, why he's an actor is because he's trying to, like, follow his mother's steps because she was an actor before she passed away. And then it's also based on a comics because before Beast Boy joined the comics and the Teen Titans, he was an inspired actor on the show, which is I think it's based on a parody of Star Trek.
Space Trek.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But and then here's the other issue is Beast Boy, before he was a Teen Titan, he was part of Doom Patrol. Are we going to bring in Doom Patrol? Like, I feel like they often seem inclined to follow every possible route they can, and we don't have time.
Yeah, the show at the moment lacks focus, and I want to kind of remind everybody, it's like we've only really had 2 weeks of Young Justice so far, but we've had 6 episodes, so it's not like it's we just started. Technically, we haven't. We're 6 episodes in now, and we still are
like a quarter of the way into the show, basically.
Right, and it's still like. There's too many characters. It seems a little bit unfocused. So just kind of reminding everybody that, yeah, it's 2 weeks in, but it's 6 episodes in. So it's a lot. We should by now start moving into like ending Act 1 and moving into Act 2 and what's going on. And by now, but at this point, I still feel like the next episode we're going to be introduced to even more characters, and that's not what I want.
Let's kind of move roughly into episode 5. Speaking of meeting more characters. The New Genesis stuff, Megan's brother and Forager, and why does so much happen so quickly? Like, I don't even know where to begin this episode. Let's talk about the Megan stuff.
I think
what
they preluded in the comics.
Think of the Megan brother reveal?
They preluded in the comics that she had a white Martian brother, but I just never really thought they were going to bring that into the story or even have time for that. But I just applauded that they did that, and it's a cool thing to bring in. Or Miss Martian and her story.
What did you think, Beatrice?
I mean, I liked it, and to be honest, in that little time with him, I got more development from him than a lot of characters. Even Donna Troy, to be honest. I got more from him in that little episode than I did with Donna Troy.
That being said, I like Forager, but I agree that, like, we need to give the development to older characters. Like, come on.
We do. Not to say that, like, it's like I want more Donna Troy development. Not, like, I'm just focusing on Donna Troy because, like, that's easy. We've already established her.
Yeah, good example.
Right, but like, I want there to be more development of her, but in comparison to the entire season plus we've had of her, and this one episode with this brother, I've gotten more of him, and I like the story that's set up with him, because it's like, what do you do when you have a family member that goes into extremist territory, and how does that what is that tension and what do you do? That's something that is relevant nowadays, unfortunately. And I think that's a really cool thing to do and a really cool storyline, and to have him again be the one to go through that. And, you know, being able to incorporate more of the White Martian kind of mythos into the show, again, another great thing. So I don't have any problems with that. For me, it's just, we're bringing in all, like, you know, like that, I don't even remember his name, the turtle cockroach guy. He's like now part
Forager.
of the team. Forager.
Buggy
right.
guy, the roly-poly guy.
Exactly, roly-poly guy. So he comes in, and I'm just like, but do we need, like, really? Do I need you? Are you going to be another, like, I mean, okay, sure. Can we, like, I don't know. Forager's fine. Forager's
That's
fine.
exactly how I felt in episode 6. Like, I was like, okay, we already have Brion and Halo Girl. Do we really need this guy?
I prefer Forager to Brion, at least. Like, I actually like Forager.
I mean, granted, he's different from Superboy, so he's progress. He's a new character that actually is, like, distinct enough to be his own character. But also, it's like, do we need, like we had Blue Beetle last season. Now we have him this season. It's like, do we need, like, a bug guy every season? Like, do we need that? Can it be, like, I don't know, like,
yes,
a cat
season
girl
4
or
will
something?
be Ambush Bug.
But
we will always have bug characters.
See, this is why I like Marvel better, because I don't get bug characters. Well, I do.
That's a statement.
Like,
Ant-Man,
Spider-Man.
We do get Spider-Man, but he doesn't look like a bug. I'm just saying.
The Wasp.
I just don't like bugs, okay?
Oh, you like your cuddly mammals like Squirrel Girl and Black Cat and Black Panther, all the mammal-themed superheroes.
Black
or just,
Manta.
you know, or like, look, I even like Ant-Man, but guess what? Ant-Man is human, which is, you know,
he rides
Wasp
around
is
on ants.
human. It's fine. I can ignore the ants because when he talks, I can just block him out.
Okay, but Blue Beetle himself is not a bug.
Yes, but he makes this bug
It's
sounds.
a scarab.
Doesn't matter. Point
It's a
it.
scarab.
The scarab makes the sound, and it's just
Exactly.
it's alien.
Well, the
But
scarab
it's not a real
and-
scarab; it's an alien scarab.
We're getting off topic. Okay, we need to get back to focus on this. Like, just let me have that bold statement, and let's move on.
I didn't mean to bug you.
Oh, but
All right, so let's move into episode 6, which is more characters. Yay!
Oh my goodness. Can I first start off by saying it's crazy how they just brought in both Jason Todd and Damian Wayne into the story? Like,
oh my god.
At least I know that Damian Wayne is not going to become a focus yet because he
He's a
can't.
baby.
Like,
no, but like
I've
feel like
never liked Damian Wayne more than this episode.
what they did in the
I
comics
do not
is that
like
they-
him.
Well, I remember what they did in the comics that in the New 52 they accelerated his age. So maybe so season 4, maybe we want to see him soon.
I mean, why do they keep trying to make Damian Wayne happen? Like, why? Like, can we not? Like, if we're gonna focus on, like, a Bat Family character, let's focus on Oracle. Let's focus on...
Or Stephanie Brown.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my god, yes! Or Cassandra Cain! Let's focus on Cassandra Cain. Why can't we focus on her?
Any of the 3 Batgirls, please. Any of the 3.
All 3 of them. Let's
We
focus
barely
on
spent
all
any
of them.
time. We barely spent any time with Batgirl last season, and now we see her being Oracle. Like, I was just like, oh my goodness.
Which, you know what? Fine. Like, that to me was fine. And I'll tell you, like, that was fine because I do not want to see the Killing Joke replaying again and have to go all through that. Like, that is fine. Because, like, I am so familiar with her storyline. It's like, you know what? Have her be Oracle. Like, I love Oracle, so we're good. What I don't understand is why are we going through the Damian? I don't want Damian. Can we, like, send him back?
I really think Damian was just a one-off little cameo because they love sneaking stuff like that in.
I hope so.
I truly believe so. But here's the thing. If we do get Damian, by comic reasoning, we have to have Stephanie first. So unless they kill her off between seasons like they did Jason and then not give her a place in the Batcave like they did in the comics, which made everyone mad, including myself, because Batman is sexist and evil and I hate him. Batman's a terrible person. Not the point of this podcast.
He really
Well,
is.
Batman
He really
sucks.
is, man. I can't fight you about that. He really is.
Like, honestly, ranking the Batmans in order, real quick. it's Dick Grayson, Terry McGinnis, Jim Gordon, every alternate universe version of Batman, then Bruce Wayne. Like, I honestly don't like him. That's my bold statement.
That's fair. I mean, I'm sorry for you because there's so much emphasis on Batman.
I know. There are some really good Batman stories, don't get me wrong. Like, the Telltale Batman game was really, really good. I like a lot of Batman stories. Just Bruce as a person, I'm like, I don't know if you're a really great icon. I like the Bat family. It just sucks that you're the head of it. And the Bat family is mostly united by angst against Bruce.
Exactly.
Like a true patriarch.
Truly. Honestly, though, like Alfred's great. But back to this episode, yeah, we get Ra's al Ghul, we get the League of Shadows. Let's talk actual theory instead of just our like meta discussion. Let's actually talk about the plot a little bit. Who do you think is now running the League of Shadows if it's not Ra's al Ghul?
My assumption is probably Deathstroke because we see him in season 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you might remember from Teen Titans, after Terra gets sent away, who does she end up with once she's in America?
Slade.
Now, you've both seen the Terra arc of Teen Titans, right?
Yeah.
Have you either seen or read the Judas contract?
I think
the Teen Titans like DCAU thing.
Yes,
I watched the movie. I watched the movie that came out last year about it, but I didn't read it.
Yeah,
that
I watched
one.
The movie. Yes,
I don't
It was a while
know.
ago.
Did the movie imply that her and Deathstroke had a really inappropriate relationship?
I do not remember that. I mean, if that were the case, then I blocked it out.
In the comics, in the show, Terra is so redeemable. Like, in the show, Terra is so sympathetic. In the comics, she is not. Like, she is a completely different character. Basically, everything, like, towards Beast Boy, towards the Titans, like, she never cared about them. She was always sent to infiltrate. She was always bad. I mean, you can understand why she is, because of her backstory of, like, a lot of stuff. But the point being, yeah, she sleeps with Slade in the comics, and it's really weird. And I don't think they're gonna do that in the show, but I do think that we're gonna find Deathstroke on our way to her. I really think that's where we're going. I just don't know how deep. If the show's trying to be more mature than Teen Titans, do you think they'll be that mature / bad?
I mean, Terra in this universe, she's what, like 12 years old? I think they stated that in the first episode, of season 3, right?
No, she's Terra's older than Brianne, I thought.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, it'd still be kind of like bad for if an audience wouldn't kind of like react really, really well if they just did that in the season. So it kind of be kind of crazy, man. I wouldn't think so.
Beatriz, what do you think? Do you think it's going to be more mentor or will it be lover?
I hope more mentor, but I'm thinking. I mean, she might be lover if that's what they want to. If that's what they have a tendency to. Like I don't like that that Young Justice is kind of is incorporating a lot of stuff from the DCAU, a lot of like outfits, a lot of things. They're just kind of taking a lot from that, which I don't understand why, because they were like different storylines, they were different things. Like why are you trying to mesh those two things? So if they do go more the DCAU route, which they've kind of shown that they're starting to, then I'm assuming they might make it more lovers kind of thing. That and the fact that, they are, they're on their own streaming site, so now they can go as dark or as explicit as they want. And the DCAU, even the Teen Titans one, the Teen Titans like Judas contract was like very explicit between like Starfire and Dick. So it's like, I don't know, like it all depends on what I could see them go both ways. I hope she stays as I hope it stays more as a mentor thing or like as a father figure kind of thing, because that like it gets into like grooming territory, which I I have enough reading about that in real life from like stupid, disgusting celebrities. So I don't want to read more about it or watch it on the show.
I think if they go that route, I think Terra needs to be like 24, 25, not whatever age she is in the comic. That just made me really icky and uncomfortable. And B, they need to basically make sure that I know how much you hate Killing Joke. Dylan warned me. They need to not do that.
I mean, it's
like they need to basically if this was a relationship, it needs to be Terra wanted to be an assassin, found Deathstroke. She made them like she needs agency, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Like,
it can't be like, oh, he had her since she was like the moment they took her as a child. Like that's a no. That's a
no. It needs to be. She was with Ra's al Ghul when Deathstroke came in and took over. She's like, ooh, yes, follow that guy. Like if it's that route,
that's more appropriate.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's a little better.
Yeah,
and. As much as
it's hard because that's her story. The whole thing is that she had no agency, and then like even Teen Titans, it was like the whole point was like she had none, and then she was able to rebel when she had it. Like
Mm-hmm.
So
part of me wants the more sympathetic character that we got in Teen Titans because I think that's a really great story. Part of me wants them to go the lover route just to redeem what they did after Killing Joke. Just to say we can do this well.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, if they're gonna ship anyone with her, I mean, we've seen in the comics and the series, it's always her and Beast Boy that have like plot with each other. So
took 30 years and 3 universes, but yeah, Beast Boy and Terra finally dated. Yes, I think that. But do we have time for Beast Boy and Terra? Like,
yeah, I don't know why. Like, to be honest, like if that's the big love story we're like heading towards, like. I don't think we have time. Like, he was just there for, like, a second, and he's acting. I don't think, like, we need him to be...
He's already dating a queen, too. He's dating another queen, too.
He's dating his own princess. Like, we don't need that.
Who apparently is the girl that Wally, like, raced the heart to back in, like, season 1, and like, also, everything's connected.
And not just that, but, like, she looks exactly like Terra. She has blonde hair. She's, like... I mean, come on.
Is she actually Terra?
I don't think she's Terra, but, like, basically, like, what I'm saying is Beast Boy has a type. Is what I'm saying. Princess and blonde.
Okay, I really hope they do not bring in Raven in this series. Do not bring in Raven, man. I don't know.
We have no time. We have no time for Raven. We have no time for Starfire. Like, no.
We have no time for Cyborg.
Yeah.
We have no like Cyborg's busy with the Justice League. Like, he's fine.
Yeah.
Ever since the New 52, Cyborg is doing just fine. Like, we need to focus on who we have.
Yeah, exactly.
So we all agree that was Red Hood, right? Like that's Jason Todd, right?
Yeah, that's Jason Todd.
I mean, I'm
the character in the metal mask going Grayson, like that's Jason Todd.
Yeah, I have an issue with it because like the thing is, we all know that it might be Jason Todd, but the thing is, the show has never like gone out of its way to like talk about Jason Todd or anything. They just like showed him once with just a hologram.
That's all the plot this show ever needs.
Well,
How
here's
does
the theory.
Jason have more development than Donna Troy?
Like, I mean, also true. Like, that's not fair. But here's a theory. What if Jason is like, you know, baby Damian? He's just there as an Easter egg and we never see him again. Because I swear, if Batwoman is an Easter egg, but Jason Todd gets his own thing, I am going to explode. That is not okay.
Unless it's something.
I completely agree. More Batwoman.
Yeah. Oh God. Ugh.
See, I've always been really like I'm looking at this show. I've been very, very big picture about where DC's going in the next 5 years or like 2 years. Like, I get it. Let's not bring in the Doom Patrol. They have their own show coming. We don't need them. Batwoman's getting her own series, so if we don't get more of her, I'm kind of okay just knowing that a Batwoman show is coming. Despite that taking away from the show, but it means that this show needs to step up its game in its LGBT department without her. Like that just because they don't have to use Batwoman because she's getting her own show doesn't mean, you know, okay, well then Tracy 13 needs to step up.
Well, and then, like, here's the thing. They're on a DC streaming app, so they're free to do whatever they want. They have the freedom to do. They're not on Cartoon Network, not on Disney Channel. No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, they can't. I'm not saying that when other producers or creators say, like, oh, the network wouldn't let us do something, I'm not saying they're lying, and I'm not saying they're wrong, and I'm not saying that's an excuse. But the people making DC Young Justice Outsiders cannot use that because it's DC above them. So if the character is already gay in the comics, the people that greenlit them being gay in the comics are the same people that greenlit your show. Yeah. Like, and so they don't have that licensed disconnect of, oh, well, they're gay in the comics, but we can't show that in the show because the network, there's no middleman. And I think that's kind of going to make it put up or shut up time. Because I remember between seasons 2 and 3, they were like, oh yeah, if we got season 3, you'd want to do LGBT content. And now's the time to put up or shut up. Did you mean that? Or did you just say that to get more people watching the older season so you could get greenlit for season 3? Like,
not another Voltron, man. Not another Voltron issue.
Oh, please no. I want to be able to like the show without people yelling at me. Like, please don't mess up. Like, come on, guys. Just please name Tracy 13. Let's start there.
Yeah.
On a positive note, since we've been ragging on it, I'm still like enjoying the show. I'm still enjoying what I'm seeing.
It's amazing.
Like, I think
it's because we all love, because Haruun, I've never met you, but I can tell you're a big DC fan, and I'm glad to have you aboard. Beatriz, I know you love DC. We all love the DC universe. We all love these characters, and that's why we're so hard on the show, is we know what it can be. And I think that's why we're tough on it, because we all love these characters. We all love this show. We just want it to be better. Like, we want it to be the best it can be.
Exactly.
I mean, and again, like, it's one thing, for me, it's less, for me, what worries me, it isn't even, like, I don't think they can, it's not that I don't think they're not capable of doing this. I've seen the past 2 seasons. I know they're capable of telling these stories and finishing them off and, like, tying them all up together. And I just, for me, it's, what's the cost? Why are we punishing characters for the sake of, like, grand scope stories when we can have both? It can be done. So that's it. I just give me more Donna Troy, please.
We need to start being like the Donna Troy pushers. And I mean, I hate to be that guy because I'm always that guy that's like, well, in the comics they could do this, but there is a canon Young Justice comic at this point. Being done by Brian Michael Bendis. Brian Michael Bendis is one of all the white dudes in comics, he's one of the most, I'm pretty sure he's white. If I'm wrong, Brian, I'm so sorry. But he is one of the most, like, pro-diversity people out there. Like,
he's made some
mistakes. He made Miles Morales. Yeah.
Oh my God, he did?
Yeah.
He also kind of did the whole Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver incest stuff, but we don't talk about that.
We're not talking about that.
That's the Ultimate Universe. It died in a fiery explosion 3 years ago, and we never have to mention it again. Because Miles escaped, so we're good. But, like, he's done some really, really great things, and he's the one doing the comic of Young Justice, so I know I have good hopes for the comic that it will basically be a good supporting backup. And because basically at this point, they've probably already produced all of season 3. So if they didn't already make more Donna, we're not getting more Donna than what they've already made. But if enough fans are like, no, Donna Troy needs this, comics are written a lot more loosely, a lot quicker. So maybe the comic can swoop in and save her. Maybe I say that, I'm not saying that's a good replacement, but I'm saying that if she's not already in more of season 3, she's not. We can't change that, but we can change how the comic treats her. And I think that's unfortunately the best we can do for her.
Yeah.
But I also want to say, like, when I say Donna Troy, I just mean, like, if we're gonna have a show called Young Justice, like, why aren't we focusing on, like, the Young Justice team as much as, like, the others? Like, you know, like, again, like you said, we have, like, 5 different teams. And it's like, can we, like...
Outsiders.
I know, I get it, Outsiders, okay, fine. But I'm just saying, like, why can't... Like, I mean, like, look, if you are gonna get Dick out of the team, why are we still with Dick? Stay with the team. Like, that's a decision you make. He walked away. We don't need to stay with him. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just, like, more like, if they're out, they're out. Let's focus on the actual team we have.
Like, McGann is a team leader. Like, do you know how rare female team leaders? I mean, you two know, obviously, but do you guys know in general, like how rare female team leaders are in comic books?
Why do you think Nico's so precious to me? Why do you think Nico Minoru is so precious to me?
Nico is. If we did live action, we would have covered Runaways by now because I live for Brian.
We totally would have covered Runaways.
Nico is the love of my life. I have just
get in line. Get in line.
We're talking later about Nico because I need to gush. Like she's, but originally she wasn't the team leader though.
Okay, doesn't matter. We're not going to get into this. Point is...
Yeah, the point being, it's so rare for female team leaders in comic books. Like, it just doesn't happen that often. And here we have one, and, like, that's so awesome and so cool, and we're not focusing on her.
Exactly.
Like,
the biggest thing, beside her and her brother, what is the biggest thing Megan has happened to Megan in these 6 episodes? She's engaged. She's engaged. That is the biggest thing. She's engaged, and she met her brother. Like, she
rounded up the other team to go to New Genesis. I mean, we see her functioning as a leader, and she seems like a competent leader that everyone trusts, just we don't see her actually leading.
And then there's that. They already
planted the seeds. Like, she already also planted the seeds of, like, people were like, why is she, like, why did she cut us off, like, mentally when she went to talk to her brother? So there is also, like, there's kind of this, there isn't 100% trust there. Like, this is a new team, so we do feel this kind of awkwardness. So I'm like, explore that! And they're not.
It's like, by rationale, McGann is the leader of Young Justice. The show is called Young Justice. Ergo, McGann should be a really big focus. And she's not. I swear, if they fridge her, I will literally go to Jeff Johns' door and meow outside it like a cat until he lets me in.
She's like the main female character of the series, exactly. Like I feel like she's even appeared in more episodes than Dick or Superboy.
Artemis.
Yeah. Artemis.
At least Artemis has had some really good stuff this season so far. Like,
yeah.
Like, the scene where Artemis is like, that's not why we're here. And then Dr. Fate leaves and Zatan, oh my, like that to me was such a good scene. And we passed the Bechdel test. Like that's such a low bar, but we did it. Like that's, if we're going to give the show something, it did that.
Can we if we're gonna start talking about female characters, can I take a moment to get like a mini rant in about Halo?
Yes, please.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, go ahead.
So here's the thing. No, look. Here's my thing. And this is something that worries me. I am very uncomfortable with how they're using Halo in this show. Because here we have this woman of color who is just like being maimed and killed gruesomely again and again and again.
Exactly.
And I just...
Who is she, Kenny from South Park? Like, why is she dying and, like, getting killed in every episode?
And it's, like, it's not even that, like, it's not even, like, done off screen. It's, like, being shown to us in a very gruesome way.
Like, you hear her neck crackle.
Very, like, not just that, but, like, in the first 3 episodes, her face was melted off by a lava guy. Like, it's just, I'm just very worried about how they're using this girl. Because... I mean, what is it that at the end she doesn't come back and that just provides pain for Prince Brion, poor boy, the rich boy who I don't care about? Like, no. Like, I'm worried about how they're using her as this device to cause pain and to cause weight. And it's like, look, if you're gonna kill someone, you need to kill them. You can't just, like, that makes their death, if they just always come back, that makes their death, like, meaningless. And they keep doing it in such a gory way, and she's, like, they're just attacking this woman like again and again and again, and it's like, poor girl, and it's like, it must be traumatizing. Are we gonna have time to actually deal with that? And it's just, it makes me uncomfortable how gory it is. And if this were like I don't know, for me, this is making me nervous. This treatment of this character is making me very nervous.
It reminds me a lot of there's a book series called Gone. This is only for example. There's a book called Gone. where a bunch of teenagers have superpowers, and one of them's name is Britney. She's very, very Christian, and she ends up with immortality, basically becomes a zombie, but has to share a body with this really sadistic dude named Drake. And Britney's whole thing is, why has God chosen me for this? Why has God done this to me? Why has God made me immortal? Da, 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 da. And I have a feeling that's a similar route to what they're going to do with Halo, of she so far just thinks she's taking a nap. Like, she so far doesn't seem to put together that she's immortal. But we've already established they basically all but said she's Muslim, like, which at least, like, I agree, the whole, like, let's repeatedly kill off a woman of color to make all the white boys feel sad. Not good. However, at least she's not in a skin-tight costume like Dust from X-Men. Like, at least she looks normal, like a normal person. But I have a feeling that that's going to be where they go eventually once she starts to remember who she is, which we saw her starting to do, of she's going to be very much the religious character of, why do I have this calling? Why am I immortal? Kind of these higher thought philosophical ponderings that ultimately lead to some kind of decision. I don't think she's going to end up dying permanently. I don't think that's where they're going, but I do think that, because so far she's the only immortal character we've ever seen, and I think they're going to use that for something. I agree that they could, not kill her off repeatedly, gruesomely, over and over again, every 3 episodes, like clockwork, but she is our first immortal character. And
isn't she like a healer too? She's a healer too, right?
She's got so many different powers. She's basically all the Lantern colors in one. Like, she's a weird, power-wise, she's a really weird character. Basically, whatever color she glows has a different effect. Why she glows these different colors, I don't know. Feelings? She's basically a weapon mood ring. And so it's a storyline where they can tell really, really interesting stories of an immortal character, especially if she is a religious character. Where does that fall in? However, based on how they've treated her immortality so far, of let's use her to make white boys sad, I don't know if they're going to do a good job with that. I share your worry. I worry that we could get something really, really impactful, or we won't. Like,
I mean, again, and like, for me, it's also just the way it's been executed. Because it's one thing, like, okay, like, if you're immortal, like, chances are the only way you can, like, we can truly see your power is if you keep, like, pushing death and fight and surpassing death and, like, escaping it. So I don't mind that. I just mean the way that they're presenting every time she dies is so gruesome. And it's like, to the point where it's like borderline sadistic now. Like, this is like the 3rd time she's died, and it's been in a pretty gruesome way.
And she's like a 16-year-old girl, too. She's 16.
Second time we've seen her die, 3rd time that she has. Like, I don't think we saw her die before she ended up in the grave. But we know, obviously, she did.
Right. So that's why I'm just like, like, 2 out of 3 are very gruesome and sadistic ways of killing your character. I'm just like, I'm nervous of the way the writers are going to be treating this character. Just based on what we've seen so far.
Here's that word again, agency. I think that's what it's going to boil down to. Like, to me, I would much rather her, like, recognize her immortality, wield that as a weapon of, I'm going to be a bullet shield so you guys can get through. Let me take this. I'll be back in, like, 5 minutes. And her being shot be really bloody, but it was her decision to use her immortality as a weapon to help the team, as opposed to the villain just randomly kills her off in 2 seconds, but it's okay because she's immortal.
See, but at the same time as well, like, while I guess you could say that, for me, it's like, I would find it more interesting if it terrified her to die. And, like, every time is, like, painful, and she becomes actually, like, affected by these things. Like, to me, that's more interesting, and it's like, to be like, oh, don't worry, guys, I'm just gonna be a human shield for you, and then get shot, like, 10 times, like, that's not something, like, you mentally can just easily surpass and be like, I'm fine with this. This is totally agency. I'm a badass. Like, that to me doesn't, like, that to me dehumanizes her. That to me is like, sure, she has agency, but suddenly now she's no longer like, has this humanity in her, because now she's just being objectified as like, I'm a human shield, and sure I have agency, but I'm still just a thing to keep you guys from dying. Like, I am worth killing because I can come back. But it's like, I get it. I'm just nervous about the execution. For me, it's all about the execution. You can do all this. Like, if she was terrified, but she realizes, like, she has to be a shield in order for them to save the world, and she makes that choice despite being terrified and shows the repercussions of that afterward, then, like, sure, that can work, and that's because it's been, like, executed properly. But to me, if they don't handle that well, if they don't execute this properly, it reads off very badly. So far, it hasn't been read very well.
They haven't been consistent. Like, she has no memories of before the first time she died, but she has memories after the second and third time, except for like the 2 minutes where she actually was doing the dying. Like, because so far we haven't dealt with the whole, she had her face melted. Like, is she okay? It's all right. It's all right. We've been going for like a good hour. It's a lot of good discussion. I think the big takeaway is we want the show to be really great, and we're enjoying it. Just we have some concerns. Yeah. Is that a fair sum up?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Also, Oracle is amazing. That's all.
Oh yes, as a Birds of Prey fan, like yes, Oracle Nightwing is my jam. I finally got a physical copy of the comic where Nightwing takes her on the trapeze, and it's so good. And I want that scene in the show.
Exactly.
Like, give me 2 minutes of that scene, and I'm good.
Do you think the rest of the team knows about her, or is it just like her and Nightwing thing?
Well, Artemis didn't have her on her little heads-up display, so I'm going to say no.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's just Nightwing who knows. Which, that could be its own thing, where we don't have to deal with the Killing Joke, but we can deal with, like, Oracle, like, it's Barbara, what's going on? Like, that could be also a cool thing to do later. Again, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to cover, and there's a lot of threads. It's kind of crazy.
We have Oracle and Red Hood. I'm so concerned we're going to get a Joker flashback of some kind. Please don't bring back Brent Spiner. Brent, I love you as Data in Star Trek. You're amazing. You're a terrible Joker. Please never come back as Joker. Like, the Young Justice Joker is the worst Joker.
Right there. They can have Troy Baker do it.
They can have Troy Baker do it. They can have this. Adventure Time's over. Let John DiMaggio do it again. He did great.
Basically.
Or just have Mark Hamill come in as like Joker.
Oh, that would be so good. Mark Hamill's amazing as the Joker. He was just in Scooby-Doo. Okay. I could go for an hour about Mark Hamill as a voice actor, but let's wrap up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This was such a good talk. So thank you everyone for listening. You can find all the info on this podcast at overlyanimated.com. Join us on Discord to hear Beatrice talk about how much she hates the Killing Joke, and text chat about animation at overlyanimated.com/Discord. You can support us via Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all of our current patrons, but especially today, to our patron of the podcast, Caroline, a.k.a. Princess. And thanks as always to our Patreon executive producers, John, Ryan, Steve, Alex, and Hugh. Coming up, of course, we have more Young Justice new episodes every Friday, a new podcast soon after. I think Ruby's still going, and Steven Universe returns on January 21st. Lots of stuff in the pipeline right off the bat. We have a lot of stuff coming up. We talk about all that stuff over on Discord, and if there's any shows that we're not covering, we're definitely talking about them on Discord still. So please be sure to join us, and thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye!
See you later.